Now we come to illustrating the investment cycle in a bit more detail. Typically, your business will need investors in three phases. Number one, bringing the business to life. Number two, making it grow. Number three, making it scale. Each of these has a series of investors with very different mindsets and ecosystems. It is important for you to identify potential investors at each of these stages. And you need to have a serious conversation with these investors early on. Now let's take the case of bringing the business to life. To get a business to life, the first thing you need is somebody to take care of your basic lifestyle for the first couple of years when you're bringing the business to life. There are a lot of stories about how the business started off from a garage and stuff like that. Of course you can do that. But that should not be as a matter of necessity, that should be as a matter of choice in terms of conserving cash. But you need to lock in your salary. You need to be able to lock in your core team's salary, and this salary need not be market level salaries. These salaries should be salaries which are enough to take care of a reasonable standard of living, not about slumming it out. Because then only you and your initial team will get the bandwidth to think about the business in a better way, to approach customers in a better way, to have conversations with the customers in a better way, and so on. And it will not be with a mode of desperation. The second part is about basic initial investments in the business. Most services business is all about manpower. So it does not require too much of an investment to get it up to life. So long as you have locked in your own cash flows, it is fine. Making the business grow requires a significantly different levels of investment, because there will be investments in marketing. You might need to streamline your infrastructure, operations, globalize. Now this is where the challenging bit comes in, where you need to approach institutions, which could be venture funds or whatever, or larger level of private investors. At this stage, it is extremely critical that one of your initial team members or your investors are able to identify the next round of investors. If you don't have this locked in, again you are headed for trouble. Or you might be in a business which is typically a business which typically venture funds are not interested in. So you might be able to get this business moving with a reasonable amount of profits moving with the initial set of investors. With the initial set of investors, you might also have a situation where you don't need the initial investment. That doesn't mean that you don't get their buy-in, because you don't know what is going to happen 3 months down the line. There are a lot of events which can happen which are typically unforeseen, and I would like to illustrate some amount of the unforeseen events. There may be a client which, in spite of a lot of work, may refuse to pay up or pay up less than expected. So you are running a large burn rate over a couple of months without getting any money. You might be expecting the money coming in month 2, but typically it might land up in month 8. What do you do between month 2 and month 8? One of your key team members may fall ill or may have an accident. It happened in our case, where our initial capital was completely wiped out because of an unfortunate event of our investors having an accident. One of our, not investors, team members having an accident. There may be challenges on the personal front. Children's school, n number of activities. You must lock in your funds, factoring in a couple of worst case scenarios. Again, I repeat, you don't need to draw in on those funds, but the very fact that those funds, or what in Western markets is the social security systems are there, is a huge secure cushion to take before you engage in the entrepreneurial journey. This becomes more important because in the entrepreneurial journey is very tricky. You're bringing a new product to life, you're bringing a new service to life, you're bringing a business to life. So it requires all your time and energy in focusing on the customer and making sure that you're getting the elements of the business model working. Running around for cash flows is something which you don't want to unnecessarily invite to yourself. And therefore, it is important to lock this in. And especially when the business is running, it is very unlikely that you will have the bandwidth to organize funds. Even if you have in a desperate situation, you may need to organize the funds, but it will come in at a very high cost, and secondly, more than the high cost, it will come in, there will be an opportunity cost, or there will be an alternative business impact which will happen for you distracting yourself in raising funds. So get your planning right, get your well-wishers right, get your folks who are backing you up in the business right up front. If nobody is backing you right up front, then you know two things. Either people don't believe in it and it is very unlikely that you'll get funding later. So you might need to fine-tune your business model to suit the investors, or if you still believe in your business model, then you know with an open mind you're going into a zone or a road less traveled. Be mentally prepared that you are headed for a 6 to 10 year journey of extreme struggle. Don't imagine that you can raise funding in the middle of the journey if you have not been able to lock in a few investors in the beginning of the journey. If that happens, that can be luck and hope. But a business model cannot be built on luck and hope. Or should not be built. Of course, there's going to be luck and hope, but should not be built on luck and hope.